I've been working on something for y'all. Okay, so I just want to do it, and I think y'all will really like it. Okay.
Okay.
On the first week of our Pat gave to me any Twilight movie, and the next week I'll add on to it and
With our
do
next
the
movie?
second day. Exactly.
Should it be on the first? Did you say first week or first day?
On the first week of our
first
Pat.
week, yeah.
Our Pat gave to me any Twilight movie.
Can it be Pattismas?
On the first week of Pattismas,
Ooh.
our Pat gave to me
Yeah.
any Twilight movie.
Welcome to Junk House.
It's a psychobilly freakout!
I thought of that last night, and I was like, I can't not use that. Like, that's just too
love
good.
it. Yeah, I love that actually. Welcome
'Cause it's
back
very
to
good.
Junk House.
It's Pattismas, which is a whole month celebrating Robert
Robert Patty
Pattinson's
Jr.
Possibly favorite actor ever.
Yeah.
possibly favorite
Yeah.
actor ever. And it's good. It's good.
It's good. I feel like we have a lot to talk about this episode specifically. So
Yeah.
maybe we just jump into it because we have 5 movies actually. 4 books, 5 movies to cover technically.
Well, there's only 3 of us, so we may have watched 3 or fewer of the 5.
That's true.
Well, I'm going to grip it and rip it and say, Cordell, you were right last week. I have watched every single Twilight movie for this week. And I think
So-
it could also be a fun thing to go through the story
Yeah,
and just
yep.
make fun of it.
No, I'm that's fair. Will you lead that charge?
Yes.
And mention at what book you're at, and then what point in the story you're at, and then we can come in and say when we started watching, because prior to this, I had only seen Twilight, which is the first one, and I very much
yeah.
didn't like it. So
Fair.
I decided to watch a different one other than that one.
Okay, so we start off with Twilight. Stephanie Meyer writes this book about this girl named Bella who moves to Forks. It's Washington, right? Or is it?
Yeah.
Where is it?
It is.
Forks,
It's
Washington.
Forks, Washington. Do you want to know a
Yeah,
fun
it's
fact?
a real
Just-
place. It's a real
yeah.
place in Washington, and they hate that Twilight was written.
My 10th grade English teacher, who I did not like as a teacher, and I'm starting to not like as a person the more I talk to him.
Uh-oh.
But he was obsessed with Twilight and thought it was one of the best series ever written, to the point where he did a motorcycle road trip from Searcy, Arkansas, all the way to Forks, Washington.
A pilgrimage.
A pilgrimage, yes. He also had
kinda
Edward
crazy.
and Bella cardboard cutouts in the back of his room that he would get very angry if we moved them.
So I'm gonna put this out up front. Get a feel. This is how 2000s were a fever dream, right? In many, many ways, wild times and very dark times for art and artistic merit. And I think Twilight, in a lot of ways, is kind of the culmination of that fever dream. I think in a lot of ways, people thinking Twilight was good and romantic and compelling shows just how weird our sensibilities were about anything artistic at the time.
Yes, I think I agree. I mean, like Twilight, and I mean Stephanie Meyer's work in general
Mhm.
is what created 50 Shades of Grey. Like
Yes.
50 Shades of Grey started as Twilight fan fiction.
Yep.
And just that is even a possibility, I think, shows that you are correct. that what you just stated is correct.
Yes.
But yeah, Bella moves. Her parents are divorced. Her mom's now dating I forget. Like, is he an actor or was he like a driver?
He's a minor league baseball player. This is one of the
Yes.
very few things I remember about
Caleb.
that movie.
Caleb knows Twilight.
This is
Because it's kind of a weird thing. Like,
It's
Stephanie Meyer
weird.
has some weird obsession with baseball.
Good.
Honestly.
Let her have it.
But she goes to school in Forks, Washington, and is hanging out, and is like, ooh, no one likes me. Everybody thinks I'm weird. Oh wait, Anna Kendrick, why are you here in this movie?
Yep.
And then all the Cullens walk in, and they like describe them so strangely because they're like, they're all siblings, but they're all dating basically. They think they're all having sex with each other, and Edward, he's the most beautiful. Then, Robert Pattinson walks in, and I mean, he is beautiful. Can I say that? Is that allowed?
Is he?
For 2000 sensibility, he is.
Is he though?
His
In
hair
the
is crazy.
2000s, he was gorgeous.
That's
real.
I don't know about that one. I don't know.
Caleb, you didn't see these movies when they were coming out. You can't know.
False. I saw Twilight when it came out. The rest of them, I was offered to go with my sisters, and I said, no, thank you. I'll stay at home and watch the Muppets.
No, it's Muppet time for me. Hey, there's a good vampire in the Muppets. I mean, Sesame Street, but
Mm-hmm.
He's
That's a
technically
good vampire.
technically I'm not bad. Edward saves Bella. A van is about to completely crush her, and Edward stops it, and the guy that is supposedly Bella's friend pokes his head out of the van and is like, yo, Bella, are you okay, dude? Like, is just very chill about it, and it's very funny. Nothing else really happens. They do baseball, and vampires can only play baseball when it's storming outside. Because whenever they hit the ball, it's so loud, it's like a thunder strike.
Yep.
Now, see, I think that's a cool concept.
That scene is
That's fun.
unironically awesome.
But the
Genuinely
obsession with
love that
baseball
scene.
is weird.
Yep. Yes.
There is something really funny. I don't know if y'all watched this, but they did like a previs. I mean, classic movies, you do previs for everything. Pre-visualization of shots. They did like what they called a video game version, which was just like very janky looking 3D animation
Awesome.
of the baseball scene. And it's very funny. It's very funny to watch. I think Cordell was going to say something.
So one important plot point. One important plot is that the Cullens. So Bella realizes Edward's a vampire because he's super fast, super strong. He's super pale. She does her research by Googling vampires.
Yeah.
And finding enough lore. I think it might have been Yahoo or Bing, but she looks up vampires.
It was Yahoo, because now that you're saying that, I remember being like, holy shit, Yahoo. I haven't.
Yeah,
seen
she's
that
using
in
Yahoo.
years.
The product placement's crazy.
Yeah.
She Yahoo's vampires, finds out about them, and in this world, vampires sparkle in sunlight. Sunlight doesn't kill them, so they have to stay out of direct sunlight or else they sparkle. And they also, each vampire gets its own superpower. On top of being fast, strong, immortal, they get their own superpower. Edward can read minds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, and there is another funny scene where he's looking around the restaurant talking about what everyone's thinking about, and he's like, sex, drugs, food, cats. And it cuts to this dude with a weird haircut, like smiling to himself. And then, so Edward's got superpowers, but he can't read Bella's mind, which is a big question mark. What the heck? What's that all about? But they're vegetarians, the Cullens are. They only drink animal blood. They don't kill people. They're good vampires. This is nice and all, but a trio of black-eyed peas-looking vampires strolls into Torques, and they are going to eat people. They've been eating people. They're bad vampires. And so the Cullens have to run them out of town, but this one vampire, James, is like, I'm going to drink that Bella girl. And then they have to stop him. And so they kill him. You have to kill a vampire by ripping them apart and burning the pieces.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who were the bad ones? Were James.
There
was a lady one.
Yeah.
That ends up becoming more of a bad lady.
Right. I wanted to bring that up specifically because of the fact that they are very relevant characters.
And the other guy in there is like there are two vampires that are not white, and he is one of them in the entire series.
Yes. Victoria is one of the ones. And then
crap, well what's the other dude's name?
Laurent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically these bad vampires, James gets killed. Victoria was James's lover, and so she is gonna remember that.
Yeah, she's big mad. And the entire time Edward's like, Bella, I can't be with you even though I love you because I want to eat your guts. Literally.
Yep.
The entire time. And you're just like, okay. Hold tight, spider monkey.
Yes. Hang on tight, spider monkey. But yeah, they fight the vampires, they win the day. She's obsessed with him. He's obsessed with her. The other Cullens are all like various lengths of time having been vampires. So Jasper, who can control emotions, is like really, really wants to eat Bella. So he's always tense and uptight around her because he wants to eat her real bad.
And when you say tense and uptight, you mean he looks like he is constipated, but also on the verge of shitting himself the entire movie.
Yes, he's got that blend. Hey, that actor did a lot of work on finding the potent blend of can't poop, have to poop.
Listen, it's a hard blend to do. And no knock to the actors' abilities.
Are great, actually.
They're great.
Yes.
All of them are actually great.
Especially in that first movie. After that first movie.
Well, all of the actors were doing, which is another thing that's funny about Twilight, is that every actor hated it. None of them took it seriously. None of them liked it that much. But they all like Arpats has a quote where he talked about like Edward's a terrible character. He's horrible. And so I acted like he was horrible and people were obsessed with it. Like they all like, it's just the source material is that garbage. So they're all capable actors being garbage characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. New Moon.
So y'all remember Victoria? She's back. She's going around doing some kills because she wants Bella.
Because she's a mean lady and Bella wants revenge on Bella. Also, remember Jacob that we talked about, that we definitely talked about in the first one?
Definitely mentioned him.
He's back.
So
Taylor
Jacob,
Lautner,
and he's Shark Boy.
Yeah,
Shark Boy
Taylor Lautner in the worst wig you've ever seen is a Native American who lives in Forks. He lives on the res with the tribe, and he is a couple years younger than Bella and has always had a crush on her forever. But he doesn't go to the same school as her. He doesn't see her as much, but he's madly in love with her. Always has been, always will be. And whenever her and Edward get together, he's upset. So New Moon really amps that up.
Goes, you know why I have long hair, but actually now I have cut hair? I'm a werewolf. And the reason I don't like Edward is because I'm a werewolf and I know he's a vampire. And we made this pact forever ago. Yes. One of the main plot points of this movie, though, is that Edward is gone. Edward and the Cullens have left because they need to leave every so often, the place, because like they're immortal. So if they're there too long, they outage. Whatever. So Edward leaves. He can't bring Bella. So Bella's like, wait, he has this crazy weird connection to me that if I hurt myself in some way, or I'm about to hurt myself, Edward appears. It's like a mental force, and I really
think she hallucinates him. I don't think that's actually him talking to him. I really think she hallucinates.
That makes it better. I'll end that sentence there.
Yeah. But so this is the one I watched.
Okay.
I watched New Moon. Partially because Emily saw Twilight for the first time like a month or two ago.
Ooh.
So I
okay.
was like, you know what?
Interesting.
Not points, but I'm going to walk you through the rest of the Twilight films because she hated it. She hated it so bad. And New
Wait,
Moon
so you have watched the rest of them at this point?
Not yet. I've seen
Okay,
them all. Emily has seen New Moon now, and we're going to slowly work through the other three.
Okay.
Oh, Nelly. But in New Moon, Jacob... So Edward leaves partially because Bella is begging him to turn her into a vampire. The entire movie, start to finish, she's like, turn me, turn me, turn me, turn me.
There's no reason not to turn her. Let's just be honest here.
There really isn't, but also there is, right? Like,
yeah.
So it's weird because the vampires all rightly so are like, hey, immortality does kind of suck. Like,
yeah,
like we're young and beautiful, but like we are always wanting to eat everyone around us. Like life isn't great. And so it's just the most like awkward, obnoxious, like you should just turn me. If you turn me, everything would be okay. Just turn me. Just turn me. So she's obsessed. Edward and the Cullens leave because people are noticing, hey, Carlisle looks 20 years younger than he should look. They leave the country. Bella gets turbo depressed, then decides, well, time to lead on Jacob. Time to spend a lot of time and be codependent with Jacob and fix up bikes. One, so I can be dangerous on the bikes and get Edward to see me, but two, because this youngin is better than the Void without Edward. And they never address that codependence ever, because the resolution is that Bella jumps off a cliff. She saw the werewolves doing cliff jumps earlier. She jumps off a cliff. Alice, who can see the future, is one of the Cullens. Alice sees a vision of Bella throwing herself off a cliff and thinks she's dead. So Edward calls her house. Jacob picks up the phone for some reason, is like, sorry, I have a funeral to go to, and hangs it up, making it, because he knew it was Edward, and he like makes it sound like Bella's dead. So Edward, also you find out that in vampire society, there is a Vatican for vampires, basically. It's called the Volturi. And they are horrible, evil vampires, but they keep the rules of vampire society.
One problem with the Volturi, okay? If you want several problems, but if you want to make it to where they are evil and where they're bad and horrible and there's supposed to be all these reasons you don't like them, why cast one of the most likable actors ever as the leader? Like Michael Sheen, like I see him and I smile. I love Michael Sheen so much. Oh,
such a good boy.
Well, I think it's because he's supposed to be so likable, but he's creepy. Like the Volturi are the only part of the movie I enjoy, to be honest. Like if the Twilight series was more about Volturi politics, I'd be in it more. Because when they're around, the story is actually interesting. But Edward, thinking Bella's dead, says, okay, I'm going to reveal myself to the people in the town where the Volturi live. And in doing so, the Volturi will have to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
But you also learn that Arlo,
yeah, the main dude.
Aro, there's no L. It's just Aro.
So Ara, well, it's funny because in the scene where they introduce his name, two people say his name two different ways.
Yeah.
So Aro, though, can also read minds, but he's like way more powerful. If he touches you, he can see every thought you've had, basically.
Yeah.
So he can like mind meld with you. And so he doesn't want to get rid of Edward because his power is useful. So Edward, since they won't kill him by request, will have to force their hand. So Bella and Alice go to Italy after Bella's like, Jacob, listen, I can't do this anymore. I led you on. Sorry, you're a werewolf. Bye. Also, the werewolves don't turn into werewolves until vampires are around.
Yeah.
Like his shift started because vampires lived in the town too long for some reason.
Yeah.
Also, just to say it now, this movie has the best line in the entire series.
Say it.
Bella, where the hell you been, Loca?
Yes. Yep. And it is said kind of exactly like that.
Yeah. By Jacob, obviously, to Bella.
So they stop Edward from exposing himself to the public.
Yeah, literally by like taking off all of his clothes.
Yes. And then the Volturi are like, okay, get on down into our chamber. They're like, we're going to kill this Bella gal because you're just letting her know all about vampires and not turning her. We're going to drink her. And then Alice is like, wait, I saw a vision of me turning her. I saw a vision, and in that vision, I turned Bella. And then they're like, okay, that works. Do it soon. And then they let them go. Also, Aro can't read Bella's mind either, which is a plot point for later.
Yeah.
But that's basically New Moon. It's garbage. It's real bad. Because it's the movie where the least stuff happens, and also the movie that shows the most flaws in why this isn't romantic. And yet after doing all of that, never at any point addresses the character flaws themselves. Her codependency is fixed by her being back with the man she's codependent to.
What's after New Moon? Is it Eclipse?
Wait, can I give it my review now, or?
Oh.
Do we do that?
The review? Do you want to give your review?
Yeah. I gave it a half star.
Okay, yeah.
I said, it's amazing how much this movie makes me hate every character. It doesn't even have the semi-interesting plots that others have. Just depression and romanticizing Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, I guess I should go ahead. So I gave the first Twilight movie 3 stars.
Okay.
I gave New Moon 2.5.
Generous.
I gave Eclipse 3 stars. And we're at Eclipse.
What would it take for you to give one of these a half star, Sammy?
I don't know. I think while they are bad movies, they are still pretty fun. And I think that is the money. That is why they're getting higher ratings than just half stars. Because
they're still enjoyable.
For me, a half star. Yeah. For me, a half star is what the fuck? Like, it's like, I cannot even enjoy the movie.
That's fair. For my metric for most movies is like, did you do the thing you set out to do?
Yeah.
And in this one, ostensibly, they set out to be a romance movie and failed at all accounts at being romantic, and I didn't personally enjoy it.
Yeah.
So now it's Eclipse.
Didn't watch this one.
Eclipse?
Did not watch this one.
I barely remember. Oh, we didn't even say it though, but they made in the first movie, Bella drops an apple and Edward catches it, and they make the book cover in the movie.
That's fun.
That's pretty good, actually.
I wish they did that for every movie. Because that would have been a cool little thing. In Breaking Dawn, they do have like the chess pieces, and I think they make the reference to that. But Eclipse is like Bella's graduating. Is this the one where they actually get married?
I think that's in Breaking Dawn Part 1.
So I'm looking up. Basically, another problem these movies has is so little plot actually occurs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm just trying to be like, what 3 plot points happened? In
Eclipse, Victoria keeps attacking.
Yeah.
But Alice also has a vision of a newborn army of vampires attacking Forks. And so they start realizing that, hey, so this one actually, a decent amount does happen, but Victoria starts turning people and is going to throw an army of newborns at Forks, and newborn vampires are more dangerous because they have no control.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
they're just running loose.
Right. But in the midst of this, what the real focus is do I get with Edward or Jacob? And it's never a real question, but the movies always treat it like it is, and I don't understand that.
Mm-hmm. It's very weird because every time it's like it's so clear that she is obsessed with Edward.
Yes.
But they have these two moments where it's just like, but stay with me, I'm gonna kiss you, Jacob. Or like,
yes.
Yeah. And then they explain it at the very end.
Which is the explanation makes everything worse, actually. Caleb, do you know this explanation?
Oh, I'll go ahead and say, I decided to watch Breaking Dawn Part 2. So I wanted to bookend it. Yeah. And I didn't really ask, like, my wife, dear Olivia, gave me a little bit of context so I could kind of understand what's going on. But not a lot. I'll go ahead and say, I gave Breaking Dawn Part 2 a half star.
Yeah, what did I give? Let's see. What did I give both of the Breaking Dawns? I think the two Breaking Dawns are the best two Twilight movies.
I tentatively agree with that, actually.
I'm glad I didn't watch the other one.
I gave both of them 3 stars.
I think they would be closer to that because the most happens, even Eclipse, now that I'm remembering it, has some interesting plot.
Yeah, and also like technically, like technology-wise,
yes,
the movies are good-looking movies. They're weird source material and it's weird aged at this point. But they're still adequately made movies. I think adequate
I would agree.
Might be the best word.
Caleb is having a conniption at us saying that these are in any way decent.
Okay. I'm going to read my review for Breaking Dawn Part 2, which I made just before recording this because I didn't want either of y'all to see it in advance on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
So here it is. The only way to give this movie 0 stars, which it actually deserves, is to not log it at all. But I cannot do that. This movie is only good for getting actors paid. That is literally the only good thing to come from this movie. I cannot think of a single positive thing to say about this flaming pile of horse shit they released. I literally, like when my wife was at work, watched Wonka to just feel something after this. Like, I hated this so much. How can you say this looks good? There's this whole fight scene where everything looks like they went to Party City that morning or Spirit Halloween and just got what they could get for the most part. Like, it's so bad. Like, how are we going to say that this looks good? The entire first movie is blue. Like, it looks so, like, it's shot horribly. It's lit horribly. It's edited like somebody, like, got iMovie in 8th grade. Like, it's just bad. There is nothing good that comes from this.
So, as a small counter, as someone who does not like these movies, when you get yourself in the mindset to be experiencing them,
it's still bad.
The back 3 become more enjoyable. And maybe, Caleb, part of this is that you didn't slog through New Moon.
Yeah, you just jumped to the end and you didn't, you needed to dip your toe. You needed to accommodate to the weirdness.
We don't advocate self-harm, so I'm not going to tell you to go watch New Moon.
Yeah, don't.
But like, having gone through New Moon, I'm excited for Eclipse and the Vampire Army. I'm excited for Breaking Dawn and all the shenanigans. Like, I'm more
You nicknamed my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster?
Right.
Yeah. So, okay. There is one plot point that I don't want to bring up yet because we're going to discuss it. There's another plot point that this is what made it go to a half star, was this one specific plot point, because I knew the one that everyone talks about in this series. Then there was one that I didn't know was coming that literally made me get up and have to pace back and forth a little bit to get through the movie.
Which one was the one that you knew about?
I knew the one about Jacob not actually being in love with Bella.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's the one I knew about.
You didn't know Alice was telling the people about the fight and not the fight actually happening?
a whole 25-minute fight sequence,
Yep.
maybe 30-minute fight sequence didn't even really happen. It's not real, and nothing indicates that. And the beheaded vampires looked like they went to Party City and bought mannequin heads and did a loose paint job on them. Like Michael, I love Michael Sheen. His head coming off literally looks like somebody decided to get into 3D printing yesterday and got a little ambitious.
Come a little bit closer to the mic where you're cutting out.
Ugh.
Might not be cutting out for the recording.
I didn't cut out for the recording. I was watching to make sure that, like, Michael Sheen's decapitated head literally looks like somebody got into 3D printing the day before and got ambitious about what they could build. Like, it's so utter horse shit. It's one of the worst. I'm getting angry thinking about watching the movie. Like, it's so bad.
Okay, so
Our Pat was good, though. I'll give
we're
credit
gonna
where
have
credit's
to
due.
jump. I'm gonna do a quick Cliff Notes. Get us through the worst parts of this series real fast, and then we can just see what happens. So, Eclipse is mostly vampire fights, and then everything coming to head between do I choose Edward or Jacob? She chooses Edward.
Yeah.
Breaking Dawn starts with them getting married. She's still a human. They go on their honeymoon as a human. He bones down so hard they break beds and furnitures, but he doesn't do any damage to her, except kinda. She is a little bit covered, like a little bit banged up, but like she's okay somehow.
And there's this weird tiny plot about like the house cleaners being like, oh, they think I kidnapped you, and like all of this crazy thing that just didn't.
The housekeepers can tell he's a vampire and fear him. They also, this is where you find out, I'm going to hit Cliff Notes, Bella's pregnant because they didn't use a condom. Because apparently, so people know, vampires know that male vampire's sperm is still alive. They know that, and yet they still go without a condom. And also, if they're cold all over, that can't be comfortable for her. But moving on.
I think they say in the movies, though, that they like didn't expect her to get pregnant. Right, they were like they didn't think this was a possibility.
But then they have history where
you always know there's a possibility. Like you always know.
Right, but there's history revealed that there was a time period where half human, half vampires were created, and their whole thing is that they age supernaturally quickly until they hit adulthood conveniently, and then they stay immortal. But because they're super fast and strong and bloodthirsty from the moment they're born, they're incredibly dangerous. This lore exists. This history exists. It's banned for a reason, and yet they're surprised.
I want to put a correction out there. Sorry. It is not that the half ones were dangerous and they had to kill them. It's that there were also in history a time where a coven of vampires went into like an orphanage and just transformed a bunch of children. So they would stay that age and stay children forever. And that made them dangerous because then children also don't have impulse control because they're not taught that apparently.
Okay. So
those are the dangerous ones. So then, in Breaking Dawn, early on in Breaking Dawn Part 2, because the baby's there. And also, by the way, because Olivia told me this part, the baby in utero is fighting to get out, and it's hurting Bella so bad that then Edward gives her a C-section with his teeth and yanks that baby out, and then has to like transform her into a vampire, making her a vampire so she can survive.
I don't remember him doing it with his teeth, to be honest.
Maybe that was in the book, and Olivia told me that. That might have been in the book.
Because what happens is that the baby is a vampire and is really, really hungry in her stomach, but her normal food is not feeding it, so she has to drink blood to feed the baby so it doesn't burst out of her. And then like who's the leader of the Cullens? What's his name?
Carlisle
is a doctor. So at least I remember in the movies he actually cuts out the baby, and like they have to turn her after the baby is out so that she can survive. And there's a very long time where you just think she's dead.
Right. And then she opens her eye, and that's the end of part 1. So to give a brief recap, she gets pregnant. Should have known better. They didn't. She's pregnant. No one knows what this baby's really going to be like, but they're fearful that the Volturi will think they turned a child. That's what the plot point was. The Volturi will think that they have a child vampire when in reality it's a half-breed. You also learn that the werewolves technically aren't werewolves. They're shapeshifters, but that tribe specifically takes on wolf form. They are not technically werewolves. Bella's pregnancy is killing her. They get married. That happened at the beginning. And then, the whole movie is just like, oh, crap. What are we going to do? Oh, no. This needs to be 2 hours. Oh, no. But they start, so they know that the Volturi is going to come for their daughter. Mm-hmm. And so they start going on quests. The Cullens that are healthy go around the world to gather allied vampires with cool, dope powers to come up to Washington to be with the Cullenses and face down the Volturi. And also, Jasper was a Civil War general or soldier or something.
Yeah.
I don't recall if they said he worked for the Union.
They never said where, but he also specifically has a very southern accent when he's talking.
So theoretically, Jasper was actually a Confederate soldier.
Yeah.
So he's gonna train all the vampires how to fight like soldiers using his 2-century-old fighting styles. And that's breaking down part 1. Part 2. Baby's done been born. Baby is aged rapidly. They named her Renesmee, which after her mom and Esme, which is a stupid name. They call her
Baby,
Nessie.
really quick. Baby has not aged yet at all. And Jacob is chilling out and being really creepy and looking at her a lot and being around her a lot. And earlier in the series, he's talked about imprinting. Oh, it's a wolf thing, Bella. Imprinting. Whenever you see somebody, it's like you fall in love with them. They're your partner. But also, it's they describe it as not a sexual thing, but also a sexual thing. It could be sexual, but it could also be friendship, but it really is sexual.
The way they do this, the way they explain it, and I've gotten into legit arguments with my mother because she insists Twilight is romantic. Imprinting theoretically happens between two people of the same age. And then it is a lifelong bond, and it is sexual. There is the romantic sexual aspect, but it's a lifelong mate bond. You find out that Jacob's obsession with Bella the whole time had to do with the fact that her daughter's egg was in her body, and he had imprinted on that specific egg that would eventually become her daughter. And then they clarify that because werewolves don't age, he's just gonna be her friend and help raise her and wait for her to be of age, and then it'll be sexual. It's not creepy.
It's not
creepy. He's just grooming her. And they are predisposed from the beginning of this baby's life for her to eventually want to have sex with this grown man who raised her. Disgusting. It's normal. It's not creepy.
It's a wolf thing.
It's a wolf thing.
It's a wolf thing.
It's a wolf thing. So that's that plot point. Bella's vampire power is actually dope. She has the power of shields. She can make force fields and block powers.
So this is another problem I have, is the movie's logic does not hold up.
No,
okay,
of course not.
With the series, because think about this. The reason, because they say outright, the reason that Aro could not get into Bella's mind and that Edward could not get into Bella's mind is because this was her vampire power. And that somehow that was making it to where when she was a human, Edward couldn't read her mind because she's a shield. And that's why they couldn't do it the whole time. Right. Which means
they don't fully explain it, but it's not because it's her vampire power. They explain it as a genetic mind shield. So she has just always, ever since as a baby, has had this mind shield, and they never say why.
But like that makes me think if people's powers when they're a vampire show up a little bit when they're humans, does that mean that for some reason Rami Malek's Egyptian vampire named Benjamin, so it's such an Egyptian name,
the most Egyptian.
Was Avatar the whole time?
Yes. So here's my take on it, because I've thought about this before.
Here's my opinion.
Your vampire power exists in some small way before. So I would imagine that Edward was probably a very empathetic person and could probably read people well rather than read minds. I think Alice probably had a very good ability to see potential and to have a good idea of how things will turn out without being prophetic. I think Jasper was probably a very soothing, relaxing individual. So I think that's probably what it is that Bella, because her power is just boxing you out, had a natural ability to box out psychic incursions her whole life that most people wouldn't notice, just like you wouldn't notice most of the powers. So Rami Malek wasn't Avatar, but also everyone gets one power except this dude can full on mold the elements. No one gets powers like that except him. It's crazy.
No.
I bet he probably could move like grains of salt with his mind if he tried, but who would think to try that? And that's my take.
So here's my question. What's your vampire power? What are y'all's vampires' powers?
I've thought
nasty, stanky farts. My farts turn into gas bombs.
Okay, so all of us could have nasty, stanky farts as our power.
Oh, real quick though. So the big fight happens.
Yep.
And then it doesn't happen.
Nope.
And then they're all complaining and are like, wait, but we still got to kill the baby. And then Jasper and Alice bring out this, I think he was Native American, that is like, I'm one of them. I'm the combo human. I'm also a combo human vampire. And they're like, oh, and then it's just like 5 minutes of them like,
fine.
Okay, so what's your name? Where do you come from? Okay, so what's your favorite color?
The climax of the movie.
What happened when you turned 23?
Yes. The climax of the movie is this old dude is like, yeah, I've been alive for a long time. And I'm one of these half-breeds. And they're like, oh, cool. But
sick.
I will say the faux fight pissed me off because I went to a midnight release. Like I went to a double feature, Breaking Dawn Part 1, and then at midnight they did Breaking Dawn Part 2. I was dragged to that. And when that fight was all a vision, I was livid. But I also realized that like every single YA franchise at the time had a big battle. All of them did the big battle, the Battle of Hogwarts. Like it was the thing to have a big fight, and I think Twilight was worried that they wouldn't get in on that, and so they added that whole bit in, and it makes me even more mad. I can't wait because I don't think Emily knows that happens, so I can't wait to get to Breaking Dawn Part 2 and watch her experience that.
Yeah, see, I went into it knowing that was going to happen.
I did not.
I just enjoyed the ridiculousness of happening and then not happening.
So I'm still so angry about it.
So for those keeping score, at the end of the series, Bella is immortal and gets to be with Edward forever. Jacob is not immortal, but he'll age very slowly, and he gets to groom this child into being his forever mate until they both die at a very old age way down the road. And the Volturi are like, yo, that's chill, actually. We'll leave y'all alone now. We're going to go keep slaughtering innocents in our Italian town. Bella's dad is just probably never going to see his daughter again or get an explanation for any of this. And that's Twilight.
And
it's so bad. It's so bad. There's no redeemable factors about these movies. Don't listen. Normally, even if it's
Stephenie Meyer's kind of a baddie.
Let me find out.
Stephanie Meyer, kind of a baddie.
But that's redeemable about Stephanie Meyer as a person, not about these movies.
I'm just saying. I just typed in Stephanie, not Stephanie Meyer.
She is a baddie in the way that your librarian is a baddie. And that's not a negative.
Yeah.
I agree.
Also just shout out to her for making literal fan fiction, gender bent fan fiction of her own series and making the bag again off of multiple books. That's just fan fiction. Like, is she a bad? Yeah, but no, you're right. They're not.
They're not good.
They're not the best. They're not the best. We'll say that.
I think too, though, like pop culture, these were everywhere. Like this was the romance of the decade. This was the stuff everyone thought was incredible and romantic. But from the start, you had large opposition to it. And it was like, no, these actually aren't romantic. This is actually super creepy and unhealthy. But then you had the romance side. The problem is, at the time, because it's the 2000s, everyone who was opposed to Twilight was also just taking down like things girls enjoy in general and not just letting it be about Twilight. So it was a whole nonsense. The reason Emily never watched it, by the way, was at her school. You were either a Harry Potter fan or a Twilight fan, and they had legit feuds. And so she she feuded with the Twilight nerds.
Here's the thing. I have no problem with other people enjoying Twilight. I'm fine with that. It's just that in my heart, I know that they are wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know that I will not be able to enjoy it with them. And I'll tell them if they're like, I want to watch Twilight. Do you want to hang out and watch Twilight? I'm going to say, no. I would rather go choke on something. So.
We never actually talked about our vampire powers.
My vampire power...
It can't be the same as your usual superpower, though, because most of them aren't traditional superpowers unless you're Rami Malek.
True. So it's got to be like, I don't know.
It's got to be something more internally based.
I feel like I can, like, you know how, like, Jasper can, like, influence people's emotions? Mine's like that, but only for a chill time.
You just make people chillax.
Just people get around me and they're like, they're chill. They're chill about it. Or it's being able to reach any top shelf. Does not matter what top shelf it is. I can reach that top shelf.
Mine is being really good at video games.
My theory was actually canon. When a human transforms into a vampire, her/his strongest trait is brought into their new life. When someone has a particularly intense skill or characteristic, it heightens after their transformations. Some of those become a supernatural power of some sort.
So I think, I don't know if this is my best quality, but sorry to interrupt you. But I am uncannily good at directions, at getting around without like a map or a GPS.
Yeah.
I think I would just, I feel like that either manifests into teleportation or just like.
You can never be lost.
Spatial omniscience. Yeah, never be lost is probably the best way to say that.
This is a power I forgot existed. Renesmee's power is that it's the opposite of her parents. She can touch you and share her thoughts with you, which is how they know perfectly what she wants and feels her entire life.
And wasn't she touching Bella like on the inside and using her power?
I think so, yeah. One power had the can sense relationships between people.
Oh, so you're that person's great aunt. Interesting.
So you're gay.
Yeah, you're gay.
You could just send somebody with a really
sense
good
you.
gaydar. Just
That's their
send
vampire power. It's just
sexualities.
like you're just great gaydar. Yeah.
That's so funny.
What
More
if
like
my
Renee's
power
gay.
you know what I want my power to be? Because it's got to be like a weird thing where it's like,
Yep.
it's not like a superpower. Here's what I want my power to be. I want to be able to tell somebody exactly how far they are away from Ellen DeGeneres at all times.
That's good.
That would be so fun. Just be like, oh, yeah, you're like actually, you're only like 2 miles away from Ellen DeGeneres right now.
What is Emmett's actual power? I've been looking
He's
for
just
this
strong,
whole time.
right?
Yeah, I think it's just he's really strong, right?
He's just more strong.
He's just strong.
Because he was a dumb meathead.
Yeah. Still is, baby. And his special ability is super strength. I think if there are biggest qualities amplified, then my vampire power is being caked up.
Yeah.
You make them booty cheeks clap and everybody fall.
Yep. I mean, realistically, it's probably some sort of empathic power, but that's just bland and boring. But I mean, that's the realist answer. Sorry, I'm not that interesting.
My power is I'll be able to tell anybody what game they want to play.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh.
I need
What game
that.
they would actually play, yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes you think you want to play a game, then you get to playing it, and you don't.
Yep.
That's
No
why.
more. Just good at being able to tell what people actually want to do.
I could make you taste chocolate without having to eat chocolate. That's my power.
That's weird.
Think about it, though. Your sweet tooth satiated with 0 calories. Also, think of the torment I could inflict upon you by making everything you eat taste like chocolate forever.
I see this as an absolute win.
You say that now.
But you know what we haven't talked about?
What?
Robert Pattinson's acting in the Twilight
Yes.
movies that we watched.
Yep. We just ripped on Twilight.
I think, especially knowing that he hated this, I think he did a really good job. And I really like his portrayal of Edward as a really bad person.
I actually really like it. Yeah. I think he did really good despite obviously hating it.
I would generally agree. The problem is it's like, because it's not like he was acting like a bad actor. He was acting perfectly according to what he was told to do, which by definition makes it impressive and good, but every aspect of my being repels against the idea of calling these performances good, even when they are. Like, even when Bella, like Kristen Stewart, acted the crap out of Bella. There's just nothing to act, right? Like, it's a challenge. It's difficult, and I don't quite know what to make of it.
This was an acting challenge more than an acting part.
Right.
But we love you, Robbie Pats. Thank you for doing this.
Thankfully, everything gets better from here on out. We won't have this level of pain at any point for the rest of this tour. What?
We'll see.
What do you
Y'all might not be in pain. These are not, let's just say, this is not the worst Robert Pattinson has ever acted.
No. Not even a little. Well, the movie overall is going to be more painful than our Pats, right? Like, even if he's not a good actor in a future movie, exactly. I will not feel the level of pain that I do now.
Yeah.
You know what else is a good way of not feeling the level of pain? It's Psychobilly Freak Out by the Reverend Horton Heat off the album Smoke 'Em If You Got 'Em. That's a good pain reliever, but not painkiller, because that's Judas Priest.
That's Judas Priest.
Oh, okay.
Hey, if you like this episode and you like Monthly Movie Monday, You should rate and review us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That would be freaking sick. Give us 5 stars. We also have a YouTube. Just search Junk House Pod.
Listen, it's simple. Email us, and when you do that, tell us what your vampire power would be, and that's actually it. That's all I want to know from you people. So do that, please. Do it.
Like we have an email.
Oh, it's junkhousemmailbox@gmail.com.
No, like we have an email.
Oh, we do? We didn't? I checked right when we started.
I think we got it while we were
must
recording.
have come in while we were recording.
What? What is this? What is happening?
Huh?
Okay.
Are you pranking me?
What are you seeing?
I'm seeing my voter registration in
You
a
got
no
registered
subject
the day
email.
after my birthday.
And there's like a play the audio.
I don't want to click anything in this. I need to know if y'all are pranking me or not before I open this mysterious...
Okay, fine. We're pranking you. Play the audio.
Okay, I'm sorry. It was deeply upsetting to find, like, put yourself in my shoes for a second here. I opened the email and saw with my own eyes my personal information. That is okay. So this email, friends, has my voter registration information, party affiliation optional, voter status active. It's got my precinct, all that. It says that's the one in all caps. There's a bunch of emails in this. What is
It's just 2.
Yeah, I don't know who these people... Okay, I'm going to play this MP3.
Perfect. You got it. You got it.
It says real music.
It's real music.
It's like if pop rocks were in your ears and not your mouth.
And as we say every week,
why would you do this to me? What? I don't understand the prank.
It's a psychobilly freakout.